Welcome guys to this WordPress tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be sharing with you how to install WordPress step by step. By now you should know what WordPress is all about, the possibility it offers for newbies to earn money online. Chances are that you probably are tempted to give it a try and see if you too could start a blog and make between $350 and $750 in the next 90 days. The main goal for our campaign in these tutorial videos that we are releasing is to get you to a point where now you are able to earn up to $10,000 every month from the day you launch your blog to the day you hit 24 months. So with that said, there are three options that you could actually have WordPress installed for your business. The first option is to actually install WordPress on the wordpress.com. WordPress.com offers an opportunity for anybody to actually go on there and set up their own account and have WordPress installed. But there are also pros and cons that you need to understand. One of them being the fact that you are not allowed to monetize WordPress, your blog on WordPress.com. The only time you are allowed to monetize your blog on WordPress.com is when your blog has started gaining momentum, which in this case probably may be the numbers that they demand for you to actually hit. It might take between 12 and 18 months before you actually see any money coming from the work that you put into building that blog. I will run with you the pros and cons for installing WordPress using this option. And the second option is when you sign up for a web hosting server from a web hosting service provider. Now with this option you have doors opening for you where you're able to control monetization of the website. Content you publish on the server is yours, and you also have the freedom to customize, adding a little bit more functionalities by installing plugins and the other bits and pieces that makes the functions that comes in a box with a WordPress installation a little bit more advanced. I will be running you with the pros and cons for installing WordPress on your own server as well. But like I've mentioned, that the benefits way better outweighs the benefits you have on installing on the WordPress.com. The third option is for you if you want to claim a free data risk coupon. This coupon comes in our 10K Express membership subscription. With this membership subscription, you get the first 30 days where you are doing the trial for free. You have this package of web hosting for 24 months included into your package, which means you get to start running your business without worrying about whether you should go and get web hosting and all the other bits and pieces. And the other huge benefit is that when you join into the 10K the Express 10K program, where you are you are taught the the ropes of running a profitable blog by people who are in the business of doing this, have been doing this for so long. You sort of like find yourself surrounded by not only pros who are very good at doing it, but also a community of other guys who are just getting started. And instead of the whole program of starting a blog and making success out of it, becomes like a huge party where everyone is working in their own niche of their choice, but at the same time sharing tips and tricks that are working for them in their own business with everybody within the community. And when you have challenges like you can't get certain things done, you ask for help in the when you jump into the private membership group, and a team of technical support that's been put to help everybody who is getting started and get them on their feet whenever they get stuck, will jump in and help you. But you also be able to sort of like get encouragement and support from your peers within the community as well. So the 10K Express membership option it comes with a whole lot of benefits that you normally wouldn't find when you went with the other option. Like I've also said that I will be running with you the pros and cons for picking up this package as well. If you want to tag along and get your blog started, so you can earn money with your blog, then I think probably WordPress is not an option for you, really. And the reason being the fact that this platform will not allow you to monetize your content, let alone use custom themes and plugins to enhance the CMS functionality. So you will be stuck with sort of like a dumb version of WordPress that literally does very little compared to the freedom that you would have if you installed your own WordPress, either on a private web server that you've rented from a web host, or you have opted for claiming the free data race coupon where you get access to support, mentorship, as well as the free web hosting and the other bits and pieces that come with the membership. However, if you want to just experience and see how pages and posts work in WordPress, then I think you're better off going with WordPress.com. You just can't beat the offer WordPress.com offers whenever you're just experimenting as a hobby. So if you are in this just to give it a try and experience what WordPress can do when you create a page, when you create a post as a hobby, then go for WordPress.com. All right. Now, moving on to signing up to your own web hosting server, it offers you this great control over design. The server gives you an option controlling your own layouts, what you can add and subtract from your server or your web or your blog. The content you produce is yours, and you don't have to worry about anybody taking it off you. When you are publishing on the WordPress.com, you're constantly trying to stay within the rule and roles that have been put in place by WordPress.com, because if you break one or two, you're out. They will delete the account without giving you warning or without giving you an opportunity to back up the data, because you don't own the data. So if you mess up, that's it. They just kick you out and they delete the account. Yet when you move on and get your own server rented and you are paying it on monthly basis, you don't worry about things like those, because the server is yours. And if anything went wrong and you wanted to migrate your data, they will give you a chance to migrate the data and take it elsewhere where you want to go. And the other downside for WordPress.com is that you just can't monetize. Whilst when you are on your own server, the monetization options that you have on your hands are limitless. And the one thing that I love most is the fact that you can actually start earning money as soon as your blog is getting momentum. You don't have to wait and jump through the hoops that WordPress.com would have to put you through, because what WordPress.com will say is, okay, yes, we can see the blog is been set up, and now they monitor it until when you've started generating tens of thousands to your blog. Whilst when you have your own server, you don't have to wait for tens. You could have 300, 600 visitors to your blog and still start making good money out of that. With that said, there's a lot of web hosting companies that you can actually go for. These companies are offering all sorts of packages that will give you an opportunity to host your blog. And these hosting services have got numerous options and capabilities that are offered. And to be honest with you, these companies, they are always out for the lookout and trying, to entice and find new customers who can buy services from them. They are constantly vying for your business, so to say. My goal today is not necessarily to recommend which one is the best for you. Instead, what I want is share with you the exceptions that you would want to consider when deciding which web hosting provider is the best suited for your business. Generally, when it comes to web hosting, the way how I see it, I think it's fair to say that you get what you pay for. If you choose to go for the cheapest options, you get stuck with the certain things that you usually wouldn't get when you get a good web hosting package from a respected and brand that's willing to work with their customers so that they can get a better experience. Sometimes people tend to jump for brands that are what we call mainstream brands, but usually being a mainstream brand doesn't necessarily mean that it guarantees that you're going to get a better service. If you want to check out what these other brands and what people are saying about these brands, you only have to go online and search. You find that some of the brands that people they're jumping up and down trying to promote them, they are the worst service providers you could hope for. The only reason why there is so much hype going on about them is because these companies have got deep pockets and they pay market makers, like people who are reviewing these services and stuff like that, and they are promoting these services not necessarily because they are good. They are promoting these services because they are getting paid for every sign up that they bring to these companies. So I would be very, very cautious in terms of what I want to pay, how much I'm willing to pay, and what I would be getting when making a choice like this. All right, now let's move on to what you would want to look at when choosing your web hosting provider as the minimum requirements that you would want to make sure that your provider has. And the first one is to make sure that the web host company that you're going for has actually made it prominent within their features that they are actually WordPress hosting providers. There's a lot of companies who are providing web hosting, but not everybody is suited for WordPress hosting. Some companies don't even bother hosting WordPress, but you hardly come along along such companies that tell you that oh no, we don't host WordPress here, so move on. Usually you should be able to find one or two easily that are hosting WordPress. And the other thing to look out for would be to make sure that they are offering the best of both worlds in terms of PHP. You should be able to have access to the latest version of PHP, as well as you should be able to have the old version of PHP. This is very essential for you because certain plugins, themes that you'll be adding to your blog when your blog is installed will dictate which version of WordPress PHP that you will be running your WordPress on. Some plugins they are not compatible with the latest version of PHP, which I think is obvious that it's a little bit more advanced, while other plugins are very much flexible in terms of operating, in terms of the version of the PHP that's running on your server. To be honest with you, it's really crucial to make sure that you get this on point. All right. The other thing is make sure that the web hosting provider is making it clear that you have access to MySQL database. For me, I look at what sort of options the provider is giving you. Are they flexible in terms of how many databases you could be able to create? Because if you're going to run a blog, there has to be some element of flexibility within that deal that you're getting. The last thing you want to do is start your blog with this web hosting provider. 6 months down the road, or maybe a year down the road, you want to migrate that blog to a new web hosting provider. Whilst that's not necessarily a bigger deal, but I think it impacts on your customers when you have to shut down your blog for a couple of days to move it to a new host. And a lot of things can actually go wrong in the process, and then you find yourself in a very awkward position. In fact, plenty of web hosting providers will even tell you that we will migrate your website from wherever you're hosting to our servers, either for free or maybe for a small amount of money that you get charged, and that's perfectly fine. But it's important that you get the choices that you're getting right. And the other thing is your host might as well say we have what we call one click to install option. This option is comes in handy for many new WordPress users, because all they have to do is just point and click, and they move to the next stage until the whole website is installed. Many web hosts will prominently advertise this feature as a game-changing feature. Frankly speaking, manual WordPress installation isn't rocket science either. Yes, one click to install WordPress, it's quick, it's easy, and a bit helpful to new WordPress as beginners. But you don't really have to base your choice of a web hosting provider based on these kind of features alone. I think there are important factors that you would want to consider when doing this, and these factors could be what sort of server speed is the provider guaranteeing that they will provide for your hosting. It's important, because if your server speed is down to a snail's speed, I think it's going to hit your pockets quite hard. The other thing to consider is what's the uptime, the server uptime like. This is also, some companies would advertise as the reliability. So make sure to keep an eye on that, and research on that web hosting provider's reliability to see if it fits within what you want to do with your blog. The other thing is you would also want to look at how many customers is your web hosting provider going to cram per server. You find some providers, they are providing the cheapest service you can hope for your hosting, but the problem is they are making up the money by increasing the amount of servers partitioned to thousands of blogs on one server, and this affects the performance of the server itself. It slows it down. It makes it very, very, very slow for certain applications to load and move swiftly, and this can actually impact on either your shopping cart and things like that. When you get this selection bang in order, you shouldn't really have to worry about what will become of your service when you launch your blog. I don't think it would be. you wouldn't have to worry about that. Moving forward with our WordPress tutorial, let me also say that if you are not familiar with some of the terminology we are using here and there, please do not panic. Sooner than you know, you will get a hang of what will be these buzzwords that we are using here, and you will be amazed how quickly I think things can move from not knowing how to install WordPress to fully understanding WordPress in its entire glory. If you are happy to proceed with these installation, the installation of WordPress, and you've picked your option that you want to run with, then let's make that happen. If the choice is for you to proceed with the choosing to register your own server or to claim the free coupon for your web hosting, then I think you will find a link below this video, and that link will take you to where you can now claim your coupon for free web hosting. I think now would be the time when you really have to drop everything and check that link below this video, to get your web hosting server set up, so that we can move forward and get the WordPress installed on your server, and then you can get started doing the other bits and pieces that we will be showing you as we go into the advanced stage of this tutorial. Looking forward to seeing you on inside. All right, cheers.